Hello there everyone, welcome back to another Building the Siege of Mandalore and Lego episode. We get a lot of work done in this week's episode. We get a custom Ahsoka that I made right there and Darth Maul after the Clone Wars trailer. I do want to apologize, some of the clips are a little dark and not as well, kind of the lighting's bad. I'll just rush trying to get them done before I head back to college, but it gets better later on in the video. So let's just get right into it, we got a lot of work to do. Alright guys, so as I talked about in the last episode, we were trying to decide whether to move the buildings and stuff. So what we have kind of talked about is our original plan was to have a line of buildings on that back side over there. So right now we took these buildings that were right there, moved them to right there, and then I also started on a new building right there. I'll show some more progress in a little bit. So essentially when you step back you'll be able to see those line of buildings that'll go down, and then that top thing will still be up there. So right now I'm just kind of messing around with where the building should go because it did seem kind of plain right in that area. So, and we also wanted to be able to see like the Mandalorians flying out of that little door, that door in there. We wanted to see the Mandalorians flying out through there, so move the buildings over there. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so hopefully that made sense to you guys. I really did appreciate all the feedback. A lot of you guys said you liked the buildings on top of the hallway. But after we took a closer look at it and looked at our original plan that we had for the mock, we both kind of decided that we wanted to move the buildings back and make it a little bit more realistic to what you see in the Clone Wars show. But I definitely took all you guys' comments into consideration for that part. We wanted to change it up so we can see the Mandalorians flying out of that little entry door in the middle of the mock. And we also kind of wanted to make it a little bit more authentic to Mandalore. So those are the reasons why we changed it. I hope you guys can understand that. Definitely took your comments into consideration, but this is kind of what we decided to go with. We'll kind of keep building and we'll see if we end up liking that decision or not. Alright, so we are back over here. We're back on this side. This is that giant Technic and plate structure that I showed in last episode. So I started to work a little bit on it. As you can see, this is kind of what we're going for so far. So I mentioned these little building structures. So we have these buildings right here. So here's one right now. A little bit of broken glass there, some more windows. I'm running out of glass pieces, so I got to get more glass pieces. And then this little building is sticking out on the side right there. And then I built this to show that the hallway goes right there, and then another building similar to this one will go right there, as well as those other two corners. And then those areas right there, the idea has changed a little bit to make it kind of that area in Mandalore. There's kind of a bunch of outside areas that are kind of tiled and have some of those weird brick kind of trees, if you guys know what I'm talking about. They're in like that memorial place in one of the first Mandalore episodes, and then when Padme comes, I think in season 3 maybe, when she comes to Mandalore and everyone's like cheering for her, there's some cool scenes where Mandalorians are like standing on top of the buildings in some cool areas. So that's what will be up along the sides, and then buildings like this and maybe buildings with more glass so you can see an interior will be over on this side. So that's kind of what we got going so far for over here. Tell me guys if you like this building or not. I'm kind of liking it, especially this one sticking out right here. It's a pretty cool technique, and I'm kind of digging it. So this is the piece that I used to get that technique over here. So as you can kind of see on the sides over here, that it's you can place bricks along there, and then you can also place a brick underneath there. So I placed another brick right there, attached it underneath, and then built the bricks on top of there, and that's kind of how I did that part right there. Alright guys, so here's a little bit more progress on this part. I showed a little bit of it earlier, but you can kind of see that hallway right there. Got that hallway done, so it's just a bunch of glass windows right there. And then I did this little part over here. Nothing too special, but. And then this hallway is the main thing that's new. It's just kind of in the phase 1 design. I got to do the tiles on the floor still, but I put the lights up above it. I'll turn those on in a second. All right, now you can see that I turned on some of the lights in the hallway and another one up there. I put in some more lights, and this is kind of what the hallway is going to look like. So I just have to fix that wire and get it to hide, but kind of see the lights. These are using the brick stuff lights. I ran out of the brick loot ones that I'm using over in the other hallways and other buildings, so these are the brick stuff ones, and it looks pretty cool. So just have to tile out that floor, and then that's what the hallway's looking like. So eventually, like I've said earlier, the goal is to have most of all these windows with lights in them, but it's kind of it's going to be difficult just because of how many windows there are. But that would be the goal that I would like to have. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, I'm just really liking this hallway. I think it looks really cool. So I hope you guys like it as well. And we'll move on to the next thing. This part right here is that side that I was kind of talking about, that I was going to model off the kind of areas you see in Mandalore, the ones that a bunch of the Mandalorians are walking on, kind of that middle memorial area that you see in the first Mandalore episode, a bunch of stuff like that. Some screenshots from some other episodes also helped me make this part right here. So here's one of the designs so far. A bunch of tiles, different patterns, and then in the middle right there, that middle thing with the blue studs is eventually going to be, it's a fountain right now, but there's also a bunch of trees and bushes that you see in the main memorial area on Mandalore. Wow, main memorial area on Mandalore. And there's a bunch of trees and bushes, so that'll kind of go in the middle part right there where those blue studs are. So imagine this kind of design right there, just on the other side, pretty much the exact same. I mean, it's pretty simple, but I mean, I looked at the show, and I mean, the ground is textured similarly to that, so sometimes you see it with glass, but obviously we couldn't really do glass just because of the support and the amount of Technic that's underneath here, but this was one of the next best options that you see a lot in Mandalorian. Just makes the most sense to me. So there's the start of it. I'll update you guys as I work on it a little bit more. Alright, so I'm just going to give another quick overview of this area so you can kind of see what it looks like. I've explained it before, but quickly once again, you've got a building in each of those corners over there, and then that walkway over there will be replicated on that side, and then another hallway will be kind of over in that area as well. So, yeah, you can kind of see how it's shaping up to be. We've got that glass walkway in the middle that will lead to the other side. I'm really liking that. And I'm liking just all the walkway areas, and I can just now, I'm starting to imagine what it's going to look like once it's finished, so I'm really excited. I hope you guys like it. Alright, so I did a little bit more work over here. I just did this to kind of get a better overview of what it looks like with both of them. I also finished the outline, kind of goes pretty much almost all the way across. So yeah, just a small little progress I thought you guys would like to see. Back here, ended up moving all the support beams back over here. Last episode, I think you saw them up over here a little bit. I decided to move those back because that's where the Technic and plate structure is going to go now. Because we ran out of room to actually do that kind of podium. Well, we didn't run out of room. We ran out of parts actually to do the podium that we wanted to do. So moved those support beams back. I'll fix them up a little bit. That giant plate and Technic structure thing will go on top of there, so those buildings will be able to show off more. You can see more of those buildings. And I also started on this hallway, decided we needed something right there, so I think I'm going to do a hallway that kind of goes like all the way down and hooks up to that first support beam. So yeah, there we go. Alright guys, so I moved some stuff around and did a little bit more work. So as you can see, I moved that one building from right there over to down there, so kind of now you can see where all the buildings might go. Again, I'm just kind of messing around trying to see where I like these buildings, where to place them, and if we want to modify them at all. But that'll be kind of a later episode most likely, where we might modify some of those. Also, like I showed earlier, moved those back. I found these really cool inverted pieces, these giant glass inverted pieces, if you can see them. So I hooked them up there for a little bit better support beam, plus it kind of looks a lot cooler from like over here. So it looks like it's more of a glass window. So I really like that. I added another layer to this right here. This little, kind of this hallway, starting down here, going all the way through. Kind of be a bigger hallway right here. I used these glass pieces right there and flipped them backwards, kind of, you can see. Kind of hard to see, but got those two as it kind of like breaks out into this bigger hallway, which would, in theory, connect to this right there. Right here, worked on a little bit of a broken glass type thing down there, and then kind of a blown out ceiling, kind of phase 1 design. Definitely not done yet, but yeah, kind of see the roof was kind of like blown out by like a thermal detonator or something, or a rocket from their jetpacks. So yeah, city's kind of slowly getting a little bit bigger in the back here. I'm still not super sure how I feel about it. I might talk about it at the end of this video. There's something else I wanted to mention about Mandalore that I might talk about at the end of the video, but yeah, you can kind of see what I'm going for here for this back part of the build, including that hallway. So yeah, imagine that hallway kind of going, I think, all the way across. You got your row of buildings and then the Technic plate on top. And then we haven't decided what we want to do with the rest of this side right here in front. Also, I thought it was time to switch up Ahsoka and Maul after seeing the Clone Wars trailer. Like I said, I kind of record these whenever I come home, so they're not always like kind of like time accurate, as in like it's not real time about what I'm building. So at the time you're seeing this video, the Clone Wars episode, or the Clone Wars trailer came out at Celebration, so I thought I would change Darth Maul up a little bit. I just kind of flipped his Clone Wars torso around, gave him some black arms to make it look a little bit more accurate. And then here's Ahsoka. For Ahsoka, I just obviously gave her blue lightsabers because that's amazing. And then Jake gave her like Ventress's old outfit from like the Sith, or from the Night Sister Speeder, if you guys remember that set. I forget what it's called exactly. Yeah, I thought it was time to switch it up after we saw that trailer. So there you go. And then I just kind of added a roof over here as well, just to kind of see what it was going to look like. Added some more glass windows as well. But the main thing, I just wanted to show Ahsoka and Maul. Alright, that's it for this episode, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. I would expect maybe 1 to 2 more episodes. We're getting kind of near the end of this mock, so I would expect 1 to 2 more episodes, depending how much I can edit and how much work we actually get done, how much we film while we make it. So expect a couple more episodes and then the mock will be finished, so that's really exciting. Just make sure to follow my Instagram if you want to see a lot more kind of behind the scenes photos or live streams. We'll probably do some of those too. So thank you guys for watching. Again, put all your comments down below, any feedback you have, anything like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.